I know you won't, because nobody's taking your right. I'm just trying to tell you so you are smart when you are making decisions. So when parents go, in the Indian culture, the parents will go there and look at the family and say this family is like our own family. And then they will take, I met people, brilliant people in England. Where did you meet? And all of that. So it was the parents that did the introduction. They met, they said, they found out both in UK and all of that. And they said, meet yourselves. And we met ourselves, we were fine one. Because they've looked at it, the background is the same, the culture is the same. But you see, you can go out, you are dancing somewhere, you are dancing, you saw the person who was dancing and they were dancing, and you liked all the dancing and that, and then you made the decision. There's a saying that, a mad person is entertaining to watch until it's your relative. Do you get what I'm saying here? When you bring the person home, then you will know. Are you following what I'm saying here? Sometimes when people are not similar, you can say, I like the guy, just quiet. When people are just talking, he was just quiet. A very distinguished guy. He was just quiet, nice, he had his glasses, just quiet. Until you enter the house, and he's just quiet. Then you start talking, say, listen, it's not just about being quiet. Communication. When you saw just quiet, if you talk, look for somebody that talks, so both of you will be talking. Are you following what I'm saying here? So similarities, that's what Adam said. He said, look, we are like. That's what Abraham said. He said, go and look for someone that is like. All right? And then we'll now look and say that this is where we are going. And then, there'll be changes. So there'll be changes on the outside. And when there's the differences there, what happens is when those changes now begin to occur, what happens is the fault lines now begin to show. Because then the differences there now get escalated concerning it. Now, a team of researchers, this is pure scientific now, this one is not Bible, but it was consistent. I read it and I said, this is consistent with scripture because it's a law. All right, there were 3 groups of people, and there were couples, and 35 in each group A, B, C, 35, 35. One group was happily married. One group, they had trouble, but they planned on staying together. And the third group, they were terribly unhappy, and they were calling it quits. And it was Professor J. Rushton of Western Ontario University that summarized the body of research and said several studies have shown that not only the occurrence of relationships, but also the degree of happiness and stability can be predicted by the degree of matching attributes. Similarities are like money in the bank. Differences, I'm saying this here, are like debts. The bank balance, similarities, savings, debt, differences. So if a crisis happens on the outside, and this is what happens and let me just say this here, a crisis happens on the outside. And when it comes to issues, you have to pray for wisdom. I will get into this adaptability, which is the application of wisdom here. And stuff can happen. Number one, let me give an example here. A person can even get promoted. Look at this. And I saw this in church with my eyes like this. When we started church, we were not many at that point. And this guy shot up in the company where he was. And it didn't affect the marriage because the woman adapted to it. But those kind of things can. And suddenly he got this job and he had to be flying around the world. So one day she told me, she said, listen, he's coming from Finland. He just finished a business meeting. And he has to go to Moscow. So she packed his clothes and went to the airport, Murtala Mohammed. He came out of departure. She gave him the suitcase. He went back. Came out of arrival. She gave him the suitcase. He went straight to check-in. Departure, she went home. Now, if you have been doing marriage for 5 years and all of this, during long, you have been pulling your noses and all of that, and suddenly now, 4 weeks, nobody's nose to pull. I hope you know that stress begins to come. I hope you know that. Now, it's promotion, but it has brought what stress. In fact, there was at a party once, and the owner of the company looked at her and said, you tried, I will reward you. You tried, I know what you are going through. You tried, I will reward you. Now, if the lady is not smart enough to know, because now, even though that kind of thing is happening also, there are benefits from the sacrifice. So you have moved from economy to business class. But I'm trying to tell you those things come with what? Sacrifice. If I say something, it may sound good, but it comes to sacrifice. Now, what will happen is that you also must be smart, and you must look for friends that are at that level now. Because these ones at this level, what they'll be telling you is, where did he go? Moscow. You haven't seen him for how long? Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah? They start planting things inside your heart. Next time he just says, I'm going to Amsterdam. What? You don't know where it's coming from. Seeds have been sown, not knowing it's jealous people that are trying to plant seeds of discord to pull you back to where they are. So you move with people who will tell you how they do it and how they manage those things. Someone told me in the church, said, listen, what happens is that, she told me, said, when I say he's traveling, he said, listen, we have this screen. When he's in the room, I see the entire room there. We are talking. He says, I'll be there. The children come, talk to him. We talk ourselves. He said, you will think we are in the same space. They start telling you things so that you grow, you develop in that way and start doing that. Let me give another example, relocation. Relocation, the reason why, I landed in one country, all right, in a certain place, and they told me they had a court team, and they told me, they said 3 marriages. In fact, they said the person was supposed to come and meet you here in the airport. There's crisis. Call people that marriages in Nigeria, it wasn't like that. They were in serious problem. And what was causing it? You have to understand that when you change location, you are not just changing location, you are forgetting how much your environment plays a role in your marriage. In other words, even if there are differences and that person, let's assume, the family is around. So when they go for family gatherings, family other members affirm that person. Family members say things, you're looking so nice, you're looking this, and all of that. They say things, they deposit into that account for you. The person comes to church and they hold maybe a position in church and the group around that is their birthday. You may not be doing enough as birthday. Maybe you even forgot, you remember, you get it. But there are people who are doing work for you that you didn't know, that greet, that have sent things, that deposit, that are farm. They meet classmates that say, are you still brilliant? You haven't told her or him how brilliant they are, but at least classmates are saying you are. Do you get what I'm saying here? Then suddenly, without knowing what is happening, you uproot yourselves. And then land in a place of strangers. So it is now the dynamics. Do you understand this? Of the dynamics there. Even going for party, the guy goes out, meets with his friends, gists with his friends. All right, he does things for that person. There are deposits that are made into the heart of that person. It's there. Even, Nigeria, that's why Nigerians are happy. They will do social function. People are dancing. There's something that is being deposited. All that has disappeared, you land in a strange land where the songs they are singing are strange. Are you following me? Then what is happening? Why did it take 6 months? All the reservoir from Nigeria is being withdrawn. It's being withdrawn. After some time, you are now alone. Now, the person just suddenly starts saying, let me tell you this, I can't, let me tell you, I've seen people in this church punch themselves in malls and they will never do it here. Never. But it's the stress. There's no, the withdrawal. There is not there. All right? Those things are not there. So you can relocate. That can happen. There can be a change of job. That's why we say, I married the person, he had a good job. Okay, what if he loses the job? How now do you now manage losing the job here? I was in a meeting in Washington 2 weeks ago. I won't say what she said. It's just that unfortunately it's not on YouTube. It was a leadership meeting. They asked her, when a woman is earning so much more than a man, they asked Pastor Bigwatch, how does she manage it? I can't say what she said. Go and ask her what she said. I cannot say, when she said, I said, what? Go and ask her what she said. When you see her, say, Pastor, what you say? You said something. What is it? And she will tell you. But those things bring real tension. And if you don't have certain skills, I want to talk about the pressure. Or you could even have somebody who is doing, both of you are doing well, and he decides to go into business. And what now happens is, and that's why if people are doing business, somebody should have a steady income. Because you know how payment is in Nigeria. You may even have done good business, the payment is running to hundreds of millions, but they are not paying.